Rob from HopZine.com. Thanks for joining me for another video beer review. This time we have got a bottle of the Thornbridge Brewery's Imperial Oatmeal Stout, brewed at Thornbridge Hall. Just a little background on that. The main brewery, the main production brewery for Thornbridge is called Riverside. That's a big brewery. The original brewery is a very small brewery called Thornbridge Hall, and they do these small batch edition beers. This is the Imperial Stout at 11% ABV. All you YouTubers out there who don't take any notice of, don't read any labels out and all that kind of business, this will be an absolute minefield, because there's loads on there and there's loads on the back. But I haven't read the bit on the front, which has got all the tasting notes on, but on the bit on the back does say Scotch oatmeal, yada yada yada, Harmony's blah blah blah, English Fuggle hops, which is important to know. And then it's aged in Kentucky bourbon barrels, conditioned, then finished in bottle using champagne yeast. Interesting idea. Up to one point I was going from a bottle opener. Wow, I was like Kentucky bourbon barrels, then I want champagne yeast. We'll see what goes on here. I'm just thinking, is it overcarbonated? Champagne yeast, or is it just because it's been aging in bourbon barrels, they're going to give that a bit of life again? Because sometimes barrel aged beers are a bit flat. So, as the genius Dominic Driscoll, Mr. Yeast over at Thornbridge, has he cracked the kind of the barrel aging conundrum. And as you can see, it's looking good so far. Beer in the glass, black as night. The head, a nice kind of quite bubbly mid-brown head, but looks carbonated for an 11% beer, which is it's contradiction everything I said. I'm like, no. Is it going to be overcarbonated because it's using champagne yeast? But it's probably because of that it's got a bit of life in it. But there's only one way to find out for sure, and that's to get it in your gob. Anyway, so that was dubious, I've got to admit that. Anyway, so let's check out the aroma. I'm getting big kind of like dark roast character, raspberry, like bitter raspberry, big time kind of like cranberry, blackcurrant, blackberries, coffee, loads of licorice. I'm getting the mild, that kind of like that kind of astringent note you get from the oats. Very mild though. The big velvety kind of character of the bourbon barrel, but it's not boozy. It's just adding that little kind of like drop of something kind of extra, which is I think brings in a kind of slightly sweet note and definitely vanilla. That smells absolutely delightful. Wow, really complex nose, but doesn't smell boozy and doesn't smell too big. Whew. Looking forward to trying this, so let's dive in. Cheers. Worth every penny. When I saw this on the website, I knew this was worth buying. Wow. Why have they not mentioned that it's a bourbon barrel? See, it should be bourbon barrel oatmeal, Imperial, well, it'd be a really long name, bourbon barrel Imperial Oatmeal Stout. You need to come up with some name, because that is top drawer. And that's the kind of beer that this brewery should have on full time. That could be, actually no, a seasonal, once a year. There's beers like KBS with Founders, and this is right up there with it. I had a KBS, but I've had a number of bourbon barrel beers, and a lot of them really disappoint. But this doesn't whatsoever. Initially licorice, slightly port notes, oaky. Becomes a bit more kind of lively. Currant, raisin, slight kind of hop note, but very, very slight hop note. The bitterness grows a little bit in the kind of like dark malt kind of espresso, kind of charred edge. Drops off nice. Body's nice and full. As soon as it touched my lips, I was like, I've been here before and I like where I'm going. Leaves a sticky residue on your lips, but that don't bother me whatsoever. It's really beautifully balanced. You're not going to. I guess this is the beauty of an Imperial Oatmeal Stout. You're getting loads of body, which is important for me personally. With Imperial Stout, it's the bourbon character isn't overpowering at all. And one thing that I really appreciate is the fact that there's carbonation in an 11% bourbon barrel aged beer. That is fantastic, and I'm really impressed. I was up for a big stout tonight, and this has really delivered. Top draw, absolutely top draw. It's just ticking all the boxes. This is a fantastic example of beer being brewed to absolute perfection. It's knowledge. Well, actually, what's Thornbridge's innovation, knowledge, and passion? Well, it kind of does. It's I was gonna. Knowledge. It's just the knowledge of. There's too many breweries chucking beer in barrels, chucking beer in kegs, not understanding exactly what they're doing. This does it absolutely perfectly. Understanding. You're putting a big beer in a barrel for I don't know how long. Excuse me. Probably says on the label. But the carbonation is going to drop out. So how do you address that situation? Champagne yeast, but not too much. Calculate that right, and you've nicely carbonated your full-bodied Imperial Stouts. That's got a lovely amount of bourbon character without getting lost in it, without getting too boozy, without getting kind of overridden by all those kind of barrel characters. But it's just adding that right amount of everything. Perfect. This is one of the best bourbon barrel aged Imperial Stouts I've ever had. You should check it out. If you don't, you're an absolute mug. And that is a bottle of Imperial Oatmeal Stout, 11% ABV from the Thornbridge Brewery, brewed at Thornbridge Hall. A small original brewery. This is where it all began. It's an absolute corker. Anyway, I'm Rob from HopZine.com. I'll see you next time. Cheers.